As we all know, small homes can drastically reduce the number of potential buyers because of a perceived lack of space, but in today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips that will make your listing seem bigger and, more importantly, increase the number of potential buyers. One of the bigger challenges in real estate is trying to sell a small home. In my city, there are tons of houses that were built in the 1940s and 50s with tiny living rooms, tiny kitchens, and bedrooms so small you would think they were straight out of Japan. And when the house only has 2 bedrooms, this makes things even more challenging. The problem with trying to sell a small home is there is a much smaller buying pool, and it's really tricky for real estate agents to make the space look large enough to appeal to a larger audience. A small home can feel cramped with no storage or room to move around, and this is especially true if there is more than one person living in the home. So I personally need a bedroom big enough for all of my clothes to fit on the floor. But if my bed takes up the entire space, where are my clothes going to go? In a dresser? I don't think so. The biggest issues you are going to face with a small home are that the buyer is going to think there isn't enough space. The seller's furniture actually could be too big for the space and make it look smaller than it actually is, and buyers will think that there isn't enough room to be happy and comfortable. If the size of the house isn't going to accommodate buyers, they are going to look at other options, or they may just give you a lowball offer and see what happens, but either of these options are going to stress out your seller and yourself. But that's okay because we love a challenge here, so today we are going to look at 3 ways to make your small listing look bigger, feel bigger, and make sure your buyers are comfortable and happy. The first problem with a small listing is there just isn't enough space to fit the buyer's needs. This is just like going out for happy hour, and especially now with shrinkflation, when you order the half-price calamari and it comes out and it's actually half the size of what it should be, well, you're going to be pretty pissed off and maybe bitch about it for quite a few weeks. Don't ask me how I know. With a house, it can be the same feeling. Older homes typically have smaller rooms and especially bedrooms, which can be a real disappointment. But how can you make a small home seem bigger? Well, the easy answer is a 2D floor plan. 2D floor plans give a different perspective where you can see the whole house at the same time. This gives the impression of a larger scale, as well as shows the flow from room to room. This gives buyers a chance to see the great design and an opportunity to plan out their own furniture in an empty space. They can also distract from the smaller room sizes, and this is a great step forward towards showing buyers that there is more space than they originally thought. The second problem you will likely face with a small listing is the seller's furniture is too big for the space. A big comfy couch may feel great, but if it takes up 3/4 of the living room, it's going to be a turnoff for buyers. That goes for clutter and extra furniture too, as no buyer wants to have to squeeze through a room just to walk through it. Well, that's not a problem for me because I weigh like 4 or 5 pounds, so I can fit anywhere. The best solution for this situation is staging. If you want to make a big impact, stage the house, or at least the rooms that will make the biggest impact. There's nothing worse than a king-size bed in a room that can only handle a queen. If there is no room to move around, it's going to look tiny, and no one wants a tiny primary bedroom. With the right size furniture, you can show that there is room to move around, and with the right furniture, you can add a little style, which is especially important if the seller's furniture is from the 90s. Another option if you have an unfurnished house is virtual staging. Virtual staging is great because you can take a tiny bedroom and fit a bed in there that fits properly, which is going to get buyers excited. This is kind of like wearing the wrong size clothes. A few sizes too small will draw attention, but not for the right reasons. The biggest issue with a small house is that for most people, there just isn't going to be enough space to be happy and comfortable. No one wants to live in a shoebox, but if we can change the narrative, we can show buyers a better future. We need to speak to their aspirations and fit their identity. The best way to change a buyer's mind is with a lifestyle video. And no, I'm not talking about the lifestyle videos with drone shots of Lamborghinis rolling up while you're drinking champagne. The lifestyle video that I'm talking about is a quick reel where you can talk about all kinds of different things, such as highlighting how cozy the home is. You could talk about living a minimalist lifestyle, as that is growing in popularity. And you could also talk about how a smaller home has a smaller mortgage, which means more disposable income for an active lifestyle. You could even talk about how well this fits into a busy professional's lifestyle, as they don't have the time or energy to maintain a bigger home. When you speak to a buyer's ideal life and aspirations, you will build a bond that will help them overlook some of the home's deficiencies. Small listings can be a real challenge to sell, but if you can show buyers there's enough room, it has the right style to be comfortable, and it fits the buyer's ideal lifestyle, it will go a long way in increasing value and the number of potential buyers. Thank you so much for watching the video today, and if you want to stay ahead of your competition, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you get the very best real estate marketing tips first. And always remember, stand out, sell more, and rebel against bad marketing. I'll see you in the next one.